Today's show brought to you in part by GoToMeeting. For a free 30-day trial, use code podcast at gotomeeting.com.
Today it's all about disaster relief. What's wrong with this picture is next.
Hey, welcome to What's Wrong with This Picture. I'm Andy McCaskey from RVNN TV, and joined here, of course, by Dennis Guillaume. Dennis, talking about disasters, disaster relief. What do you have in mind?
Well, of course, when you're talking about computers and cameras, which have little computers in them, the opportunity for disaster is just everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And of course, in the case of cameras and pictures, the disaster, no doubt, is going to be involving somehow losing those pictures and losing those files that you were so carefully storing or keeping of that last vacation, or important people that you wanted to have pictures of.
Yeah.
So how do we avoid it?
Well, you know, I guess from the information technology world, there's kind of this saying that a file doesn't even exist until it's in 3 places.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you know, it shouldn't be like that. But when you stop and think about it, we're really in a lot better shape today than we used to be in the film days. Because in the film days, you did have that pretty durable transparency or negative. But then the problem was, where did I put it?
The retrieval problem.
Yeah, what did I do with it? We were never very good at diligently storing those negatives, where you knew where they were, you had them cataloged, and you knew how to find them again. When I say we, as an amateur in those days, I didn't really.
Yeah, but even for professional photographers, it was a challenge.
Absolutely, yeah. And then the other part of that is, if you did find them, did you store them in a place where they weren't damaged in any way? And scratching those things was a problem. There were all kinds of opportunities to mess them up. And so today we really have the opportunity to do a much better job of storing things and preserving them and making it possible to find what we value the most in the way of images.
Yeah, and then you might say that the marginal cost, the cost of making a copy is pretty low.
It is, yeah, it is, and it's getting lower all the time as storage devices become more affordable, and they certainly have. And as they become more capable and more durable, you know, the new thing out now is the solid state hard drive that has no moving parts, and it's more like your memory card in your camera, only with more capability in terms of storage. Once those things get a little bit less expensive, we're going to find everybody is using those to store their images. Right.
But again, there's subject to failures or gradual deterioration of the data, whatever medium it goes on. So if people are starting out, particularly if you've been out on vacation and you've shot a number of things, you've got them on that little SD card, what should be the very first thing that you do, other than make sure that you don't lose the SD card if you pop it out of the camera?
Well, let's go back to the field where we shot the thing in the first place. When we get out there and we're taking that picture of that animal that we found in the wild, or we're taking that beautiful shot of a panorama that is just amazing, we've got the camera, we've got the image in the camera, and now right away, as soon as we get back to the car or the RV or whatever we're traveling in that day, we need to have a plan for right away backing those images up to something else besides the camera. So, you know, there are a couple of things. You can have a number of memory cards available, and that's good, but in order to get an extra copy of those images, what we need to do is we need to have something like a portable storage device, a battery-operated hard drive, or something that I can plug into my laptop in the RV when I get back. And as soon as I get back, what I should be doing is taking the card out of my camera, sticking it into that storage device, and making a copy right there. Now I have 2 copies. Okay, I've got the one on the card that the original was shot on, and now I have a second copy on that hard drive. If something goes wrong with one of them, and we know that these memory cards, as good as they are, have the ability to become corrupt for nobody knows what reason. Murphy shows up and they're no good anymore.
Cosmic rays is the
That's
official
what it is,
official
cosmic rays.
explanation. Yeah.
In any case, already we've got 2 copies. All right, now we take that card and assuming that there's more room on it, you stick it back in the camera, you keep going, take more pictures, and then back those up as well when you get back to your RV. Or we use another card that we've got, and these cards are becoming pretty affordable. So it's good to travel with a number of them, and then you stick that next new fresh card in and go again for a while and take more pictures. At the end of the day, we need to have a copy made on that portable hard drive so that when we get home, we can do one more thing, and that's make the 3rd copy, which is to take your portable device that you made the first copy on, plug it into your computer at home, whether it's a laptop or a desktop, and make another copy to the hard drive on the computer. Now we've got 3 copies. So now I can take my storage card, put it back in my camera, erase those images, format the card, and that card is ready to go for another day. But at the same time, I now have 2 good copies on 2 different hard drives. One the portable drive and one in the computer.
Yeah, it's interesting that people, some folks are scared of erasing the card, and so they'll take the card out of the camera and they'll put it in a safe deposit box or something, you know, where they know that they've got it, and that they have no protection, even though physically that chip's not going to walk.
Yeah, as much as that's a good idea to keep it in a safe place. The fact is, it's not that much more durable in terms of security than the moving hard drive or anything else. It can become corrupt for whatever reason, the cosmic rays or whatever does it. And so multiple copies is the only way to really ensure that you have a safe plan for storing and archiving your photos.
What about the naming that the camera is going to put an exposure number for the file itself?
Right.
Do those ever get out of sync, or can you end up with, if you've got 2 different cameras, with the same number?
You can, but generally speaking, that information is specific to the camera that you shot it in. In other words, you can tell one from the other based on the fact that that camera is also in the metadata that is recorded with the picture. Yes, you can get same file numbers. That doesn't happen very often, just because
so you shouldn't be scared of that.
No, and it's going to tell you when you try to save it. If it starts saying there's already a copy, this file name is already there, do you want to overwrite it? Now you know you need to change put something else in the name of the one you're trying to save to keep it from being written over.
Yeah. What other organizational tools help you to keep this task manageable? Because if you do a lot of shooting, you could have thousands of files.
Right. I think the main thing there is to have some sort of file system that's going to let you search and find the subjects in a logical fashion, and that's always something of a problem. But finding a way to name these things so you can catalog them, and there are all kinds of programs out there that'll help you to do that. Among them, Lightroom and various other pieces of software that'll help you to keep track of where your stuff is. But for right now, the thing I think we need to make very clear is make multiple copies, store one of those copies off-site where it's not going to be lost in a fire or a flood, that's your original working copy. You've got a copy that's stored someplace that's relatively safe, like a safe or something like that. And if you make that 3rd copy, you're going to take that off-site someplace so that you're covered in some other way. Off-site can be another copy of it in another location. That location can also be a cloud where you just copy it up to an internet location. There are those services out there that let you make copies, and then they make copies of your files to 2 different locations, widely spread. So having that discipline to work with a working copy, an archived copy that is on site that you can get to, and then the backup copy.
So bottom line is it's still a disaster, but it's a minor disaster.
That's right.
As well.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, next week we're going to be talking about photography applications, apps for your iPhone, iPad, Android device, specifically one called Snapseed. And even if you're not exactly excited about that one, you'll want to tune in to learn more about apps in general. Don't forget that What's Wrong with This Picture actually has a Pinterest board at RVNN. So if you go to RVNN and then look for the board that's What's Wrong with This Picture, don't forget to circle us on G+. Check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. Especially on Twitter, you have the ability to send questions directly to Dennis, be a part of the conversation. Use the hashtag 3WTP, the figure 3, the numeral 3, WTP, and that will get things directly to us, and we can talk with Dennis and incorporate it into the next show episode. Mm-hmm. Kind of covers it all, right?
It does.
It's not a major disaster. It's a minor one.
That's right.
If you backed up.
If you backed up.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on What's Wrong with This Picture.
Hey, Gabe, wanna go for a walk? Gabe? Gabe? Gabe?
Hey, buddy, you lost? Hold on.
If your pet is the adventuresome type, be sure he's connected to Pet Hub. A quick scan using any smartphone shares your pet's vital information, so that even his wildest escapades have a happy ending. Pet Hub, reuniting pets with their families.
Come on, Gabe, let's go home.